Happy Sunday. Welcome to Ken Knows Gambling. We're going to do session number 25 now of the KKG Baccarat Hybrid strategy. I had one of my members, he just emailed me and he's like, well, you might think about, for all them craps guys, think about, maybe going back and forth from craps to Baccarat. And, well, that's not a bad idea. Here's the thing. Once I get so far in this, a lot of people do want to see how far it'll go. And so I know it'll lose sooner or later. So the faster I can get to it, then I get to something different. That's the first reason. The second reason is tearing this down and re-putting the crap stuff back on there is a pain in the ass. And I don't want to just flip back and forth. It's too much work. So I appreciate everybody's patience. Those you want me to get back to craps, I will eventually, I promise. Hell, it might not make it this session right here. You never ever know. But just hold on, bear on with me and learn something new and hold on for the ride. Okay? All right. We're almost through with this one shoe. So depending on what happens, I'm not sure how far we're going to be able to get into it without having to reshuffle, but we'll do whatever we can when we have to do it. Just remember, all strategies will go down sooner or later, guaranteed. Best bet in all the world is never, ever to make that first bet. So in other words, if you've never gambled, don't start, okay? If you're having problems, stop. And if you have too much problems, get help, okay? Gambling sucks, and that's just the raw truth. Okay, so here we go. My rack is good. I got some pocket money over here, as mostly I do. $100 on the player. Let's see if we can get a quick session or a quick out. And if it's going to lose, make it fast. But here we go. 8, 9, 10. There's a 4. Versus a natural 9. Loss. All right, we're full laddering. Go over here to the banker. And also, too, I do need to talk about this. While in craps, I don't worry about those $1, $2, $3, $5 VIGs. I really don't. But, Baccarat just is a little bit different because if you start winning and this money gets too high, 5% is 5%. So if I can remember, I'll deal with it. Because like right now, 5% of 200 is $10. These get up to 800 like they did last time. That's $40 and go back and forth. 40. It can get expensive. It won't stop us from winning, but we may have to play a little bit longer. So the 5%. It can be huge at bigger levels. So you just have to be aware of it. Even if I don't do anything about it, you got to be aware of that 5% on the banker. Okay? All right, here we go. There's a 7 versus a 0, 2. All right, there's our second chop. And now we'll go to 3 over here. 6, 3. Here comes the 38. Nope, he don't have to draw. I'm sorry. He will have to draw only because it's a 0 through 5. He don't have to, so it doesn't matter about a third because he ain't getting a third. 9. Perfect chop so far. Happening quick. Okay, now we go to 4 over here. Now remember, this is a continuation of the last shoe. Some people might be coming in the middle of this thing, but really technically for us, after we stopped playing, this is what would have happened if I'd have kept playing. Technically, so, going to be interesting. There's a 0. There's a 1. There's a 0. He still has to draw. There's a 3. That's a 4. We're going to win this one. So we are going to win 400. That's going to be a $20 VIG. 5%, 10% is 40. So that's a $20 vig. I'm going to pay it with 25. Get 5 back. All right. We get to come down to 3. So if you get up real high on the banker side and start winning, and it's just a more 5%, I would rather, I'll take it any way I can get it, but I'd rather, if it got high, me to start winning over here, where it's commission free. But of course, I don't have any control over that whatsoever. There's a 5. He's going to have to draw. There's a 1. He's got a 5. We got to beat a 5. We didn't do it. No commission on a loss. So we're going to lose 3. Now we're going to go back to 4, but to player. There's a natural 8. That'll work. See, there's no vig over here. That's a good thing. Maybe we can get on that run over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop to 3. And go. I'm starting to chew this thing up too. There's a 0 versus a 0. Let's see what happens. 3 versus a 2. We lucked out. We lucked out, ladies and gentlemen. So the player wins that second one in a row. That's a good thing, believe me. We'll drop to 2. And other than our $25 vig, we're up. We're going to go ahead and play this one out right here. Now that's your choice. You could take that money, start over with $125. But since I'm so close to that base, I'm gonna see if we can grab one more. That's a 2. Uh-oh, that's a 6. Remember? 6 or 7. It's not a 6 or 7, so he had to draw, so we're going to lose that one. Even if I'd have started at 125, I'd have lost. So anyway, we lose there. Now we go to 3. Switch sides. Now, if I'd have been at level 4 or 5, and I'd have been up money, you damn sure I'd have went back down to base. All right, there's a 0. That's a 3, so that's 13. Now we're into that anything. He'll draw on anything but an 8. All right, so we get a 5, and now he has to draw 8, 9, 10. Then he's got a 3 and a 9. I think we lose that one. There's 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, looks like we lose by 1. So we lose 3, back up to 4. There's a 4. There's a natural 8. Bam. There's 4. Now we go up to 5 on Mr. Banker. Getting close to the end of the shoe. 0. Natural 9. Yay. So we're going to win 500. There's 4. There's 5. But that's also 10% is that's $25 vig on that one. So we're going to go ahead and pay it. Bring this back down. This means we have to win an extra hand. You know, and I haven't been doing that. All that really would have meant was I was really winning a little bit less money. I was still stuffing my envelopes, but I thought after that subscriber said that, you know, I probably should. So anyway, here we go. Especially if you come down on this side. It's vig, 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 you know, versus over here. But natural 9, no worries. We're going to lose that 4. But now if we can go 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, we'll be all right. So we're back up to 5. We don't really like being up this high. There's a 5. There's a 4. 2 through 7. There's the 7. So he's only got a 2. He's already winning, but he has to draw. So 5 and 7. That's a 2. He's got a 4 and 7. What is that? 6. That's a 1. I'm going to win this one. Let's make sure. There's 11, 12. That's 2. 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. That's a 1. We win the player side. No vig. Yay, us. Alright. There's the 500. Go to 4. Whoops. I guess that's about right. Getting close. There's a natural 9. That'll work. Yay, no big either. There's 4. Let's drop down to 3. Let's see where we're at now, boys. Because we're at level 3. Let's take this back. Let me get quarters over here because of those vigs I was paying. There's that. All right, we're clean over here. We're up. Okay, we're still on player, so now we can go to a new base. New base is $125. Now we start over. If we win, it's a regression. If we lose, we go back up. Another natural 9. Yes, sirree. No need to go any further. That's gonna, and this is the best part. This is the best situation you can get in right here, because you're gonna win that 125. You know that's gonna put you where you want to be, and now you can regress to 50. You know you've got $330 sitting there, and now it's like you can take this as high as you want to, maybe double regress, but you know as soon as you lose, you're done. We got through that chop like you do most of the time. Maybe not every time, but most of the time you'll get through it if you got the bankroll. And so here we go. And it's just perfect timing. Perfect timing. There's a 4, and there's a 4. 2 through 7. It's not a 2 through 7, therefore he does not have to draw, therefore it's a tie. There's a 2. There's a 2. They both gonna draw. That's a 3. And that's a 5. That's it. We lose, but that's all right. We win. And VIGs have been, or the 5% have been paid. That's a good thing. Bring them envelopes out. All right. All right. All right. All right. So we get 100 for the bank. We get 100 for excess. We get 100 for fun. And that leaves us $30. And I'm going to go ahead and cash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get a quarter for here. This is our pocket money. And that's 100 too. So we got $300 in pocket money. All right. If you don't want to have that much in pocket money, throw it in the envelopes. But I'm just sort of showing you at the same time how you can build this 4th envelope called the pocket. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get this shoe over here. And we'll do another shuffle. So this is what was left, so we don't really have to worry too much about that. We'll just sort of mix them like that. And we'll pull these out. Take about half of them, put in there. Half of them goes there. And this time, I'm just going to take them and just sort of mix them. Yeah, it's probably a better shuffle than clumping them. And then, because I could do it like that, but they clump. just they're old. So I think it's just as easy to do it that way. Faster. There we go. We're all set for our next session. So right now, we're 25-0, y'all. And I know even if you're not really a baccarat guy or gal, to me, this ought to be exciting as hell. I know one of my members, I won't name him, but one of my members was a craps guy. And, he saw this and he just thought, yeah, what the hell? Started on little machines, just to get a feel, but he really likes it, and I'm glad. I think that if you're going to gamble halfway seriously, and I've said this many, many, many times before, you can't just have one game. You can't. And I'll give you the damn cruise as a case in point. I could never get on the craps table. Well, what are you going to do if that's all you do? You got to either never gamble that whole trip. Well, that ain't going to happen, right? Or you got to have something else to do that you're equally good at and you're equally knowledgeable and you have something that you can equally trust. Well, my regression up and pull over in blackjack won me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I did a little baccarat on the machine, it won. I did a little roulette, it won. I have a little repertoire, and you have to have a just in case. Well, they didn't have poker, or my ass would have been on the poker table, pretty much instead of the rest of it. But, you can't just rely on one casino game. You got to have at least 2 or 3, backups. I've said it many, many times before. And in each strategy, most of the time, or most games, you want to have a couple strategies in the toolbox, especially craps. You can play this just like this. The only other different way you can do it is pick a side and do the same thing and just stay on one all the time. Only problem with that is if the opposite goes hot, you can ladder that and, bleh. But anyway, I digress. That's just some more food for thought for you. But anyway, 25-0, man. So until the next time, I got to go write some more of my book. Be great, y'all. See you, bye.